through this book uh, given by services. AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional Exam Guide. So what they are expecting, we'll see that. So basically, this exam validates technical expertise in provisioning, operating, managing distributed application systems on AWS platform. Intended for individuals who perform as DevOps engineer role. Now, this provisioning nothing but you are provisioning the EC2s in AWS.
AWS.
And operating is you are operating like maintenance is required in the VPC components, including of course servers. What are those servers? Trojan EC2 server in right? Then managing distributed application systems. What are the distributed application systems in different regions or different zones of that particular region? You are going to distribute the applications with the different setup and all are going to be integrated. You take a typical banking system. Banking system might have different products, lending products, savings account. Then you have um, deposits, such kind of thing. These instruments are common. In bank, they call these products as the instruments. Because I worked in the banking sector also around 8 years. So they are all distributed into different locations. Then they can integrate them and they can be operated it under AWS platform. Either it is on premises or within AWS, it doesn't matter, right? Now, let us see how the exam validates the person. It validates an examinee's ability to implement and manage continuous delivery systems and methodologies on AWS. What are these implementations? What are these things related to cloud platform? And manage continuous delivery systems. What you are going to get continuous delivery system? One day I will ask as a development manager, I need this many servers need to be configured in that particular network. So what are you going to say? Right? So you are going to accept it as you need to plan for designing that architecture, infrastructure, and application architecture later on, right?
Yeah.
So they'll give the specifications. I need a separate network, and it should have private and public network, and it should have these kind of things, and it should be interacting with particular VPCs, intra VPC connections. Those are their specifications. So then, when you are applying those things, what are the methodologies you need to follow? The methodologies are like development methodologies they follow, Agile, DevOps kind of thing. Then when they follow those things, what are the processes need to be implemented as incremental delivery system. Why incremental delivery system I am calling? Because continuous integration, continuous delivery will happen it. I will not do a deployment completely in one stretch like in the big bang size of systems we are doing in the traditional manner. Am I right? Then later implement and automate security controls. Can you tell me what are the security controls?
IAM roles, VPC,
Yes, yes, I am those.
VPC,
Through that you are going to have it and VPC allocation also, and within the
access control
VPC,
list,
yes, the
access
access
control list,
network access control list, NAT
NAT
instances,
instances.
maybe NAT gateway also. Sometimes it all depends. The requirement, what we are going to do, depends on the cost also. If you are using NAT gateway, it is going to be cost also, right? Parallel with instance, right? Then later governance processes. What are the governance processes? What did you understand about the governance, IT governance? We discussed in the solution architect course also, right?
Yes.
From where it comes?
In DevOps project, we discussed about the governance. Um,
Normally, it is nothing but IT governance.
IT. It's some standard
Yes. So IT
process,
governance is the
policies,
companies
policies
will
and
have,
process.
yes,
Yes,
policies, procedures, standards, guidelines. All those
guidelines,
will be implemented on top of the AWS platform to
platform.
follow some kind of organizational ethics, right?
Yeah, yes.
Compliance validation. What is this compliance validation?
Compliance is like service control manager, kind of auditing. We are defining the process, and the process are followed for that.
Right.
For example, if you are provisioning any access to users, what is the process and policies? There will be what do you call uh, policies document should be there for that process.
Right.
So we are following that process or not.
That is from the audit
And
perspective,
yeah, audit
ISMS,
purpose.
right?
Yes.
Apart from that, there is another compliance,
HIPAA
domain related, HIPAA, SOC, such kind of
compliance
things. We
up
have seen
to.
in the
Uh,
introduction chapter,
mm,
right? And
yeah.
later on, we saw that in security, we haven't yet seen that, right? Only introduction chapter we discussed in depth, right?
Mm.
Then next one, define and deploy monitoring metrics and logging systems on AWS. What are these?
Deploying monitoring AWS Cloud Trial, CloudWatch for
Hmm.
monitoring the services.
Hmm.
In that, you can define the matrices like if a CPU value is
Hmm.
this percentage warning alert,
Hmm.
and you can define the matrix for that.
Right. So basically, you are going to use cloud monitor, cloud watch kind of thing, and you are going to audit the logs through the cloud trials agents
Mm,
into the EC2 level, right? And there
yeah.
is a service manager and server client configuration will be doing. SM will be configured in the server, then client will be configured into the EC2s, which is a cloud agent. Cloud
Mm,
agent will have a log system. Then you are logging that about the EC2 operations, right?
yeah.
All those will come into matrix about one particular EC2 you want to drill down that, right?
Yeah.
Normally, these activities are in traditional manner. Who is going to do that?
Administrator, Windows
Yes, that is
administrator,
coming from the operations side,
operations.
right? Which is called continuous operations in the Agile methodology.
Oh,
So,
yes.
but here, since development and operations are combined together, AWS might have defined it
Mm,
to do these things in the cloud setup
mm,
as the role of the DevOps engineer, right?
mm.
Now, implement systems that are highly available, scalable, and self-healing on the AWS platform. I want you to give definitions for each word. Highly available is what? Scalable is what? Self-healing is what?
Highly available systems that are highly available.
Hmm. Yeah, highly
Uh,
available is always it should be run. It should be running, right?
Durability, how it will be accessible,
Hmm.
scalable, like whenever if any load if is increased, how much we can increase the example servers
Hmm.
to accept the user's request.
Hmm.
And self-healing means like scale downing the machines.
Hmm.
So
Like
that
whenever it
whenever
is not
when
required, it will scale
not
down.
required,
And
it scale down
yes,
your
yes,
servers or any other components in the
yes.
AWS platforms.
Right, right, right. So here, when you say available, always you are going to make it 24 bar 7 availability. You
Available.
remember we did some small exercise for auto scale configuration. You made two systems, always it should be available, EC2, similar
Yes, yes.
architecture.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
one way you are killing from the SSH CLI command, and another way it is rebuilding that in the front end, right?
Front end, yeah, minimum because the minimum requirement was two EC2 machines,
Hmm.
so it is always keep that pre-request
Parameters.
value. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So when it is required more load, yes, obviously it is capable enough to scale it, whatever parameters you defined into the auto scaling. What
Yeah.
is self-healing? Self-healing is automatically it will look for the load. That is important. Load balancing need to be done it under
Mm,
self-healing, right?
yeah, correct.
So ELB is the part of that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Elastic load balance. What it does, load balancer, basically it redistributes the load to different things. If EC2 is not healthy, what happens?
Yeah,
EC,
it will scale up the machine or scale down the machines. Whenever the requirement is there, it will.
it will direct to that particular
Uh,
network or
net.
particular
Mm,
EC2 architecture or primary or secondary architectures. It is going to use that, right?
yeah.
Now, design, manage, and maintain tools to automate operational processes. So, what are these here? You are designing and managing, and if any tools are there, you are maintaining to automate operational process. So in DevOps, what we have seen the continuous integration tools like Jenkins kind of thing. Then you have a code check-in is there with the GIT. Then later on, code deploy process is there. Then after that, testing is there with the automated scripts. That all entire thing we have seen in the DevOps cycle, right?
Mm,
So with that, what happens? All are automated. All operational process. It is not a production operation, but DevOps operation, right?
yeah.
DevOps we are running in the Sdlc cycle only. We are not running the DevOps process entirely into the production, right?
Mm,
When it is deployed, the DevOps is having end. One cycle is end, right? Then another cycle will be taken forward. Like you might have seen in my Excel sheet, I discussed in the delivery cycle, one cycle, what are the roles
mm,
going to happen it, right? It was
yeah.
15 minutes video in the YouTube, you might have seen that. So I have given role wise what developer does, what DevOps engineer should do, what test engineer should do, then what the user should do, what the ops engineer should do. All these roles repeatedly, they are doing that task till it goes to the production deployment, right?
Yeah.
Then that is the end for the DevOps cycle. One cycle, I mean to say. Then it is going to be repeated, that cycle, right? For every delivery, right?
Mm,
Then what are the recommended AWS knowledge areas if you see? So two or more years experience provisioning, operating and managing AWS environments. So this is mandatory because one need to understand all those things, right? Now, experience developing code in at least one high-level programming language because you have a JSON code. Sometimes the DevOps engineer might need to step down to write the cloud IAC code templates, cloud formation templates. Then that time this coding background will be useful, right? Then experience building highly automated infrastructures. So what is this? In cloud environment, you should have experience of building the IAC infrastructure as a code, right? Like
mm,
you take Ansible, Puppet, Chef, or Terraform, or CloudFormation templates, all those things. You take it. That kind of experience should be there. Then experience administering operating systems. What is this administration? Can you tell me? Because you worked in that.
Experience administrating operating system, like for example, creating the new uh, groups, domain groups, and adding users to that group, and
You
give
are
replay.
talking in view of AWS cloud technology only, not in the traditional model. I'm not asking you to go back to the traditional model.
Okay, okay. You are experiencing
You are a
admin.
certified AWS cloud architect, let us say. Now you need to talk in that language.
Okay, okay. Experience in administrating operating system, like EC to EC2, S3, load balancing,
No, but
user
this
at,
is a operating system. EC2 has got Linux.
hmm,
One is maintaining will be there, server configuration. Then another thing is you have clusters. EC2's clusters are there.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have discussed about the Elastic Container Service
Mm.
in AWS. Elastic Container Service, what it does, it will have number of containers. In the
Containers.
containers, number of cluster management will be there.
Mm.
So ECS will have internally to manage those clustering also. Those also will come under administering those systems. Nothing
Mm.
but containers are related with Linux related systems only, right?
Yeah.
Apart from normal EC2s, right? And EC2s administering operating systems means basically you have to use update commands always.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make that services available on particular EC2s. So how are you going to do all these things? Basically, in the beginning itself, you are going to create such kind of IAC to make sure that setup is done. Then on and off, if you want to run particular script on that particular EC2, yes, you can do that also with automation,
Mm.
right? Periodically, you want to run that one particular script on particular EC2. Yes, it is possible through the DevOps tools also, right?
Yeah.
You use the Jenkins. Jenkins will give instructions to run in the Linux system on particular EC2 also, right?
Yeah.
Under CI/CD activities. Then understanding of modern development and operations processes and methodologies. So each word you have to take separately. What are the modern development? Modern development
Modern
is, yeah, please go ahead.
modern development provisioning servers using infrastructure as a code.
Hmm. Yes, that is correct.
And deployments, frequent deployments using code commit and code containers,
Hmm.
code commit,
Hmm.
frequent deployments,
Hmm. Actually, all those will come under modern development. Apart
modern
from
development.
that, containerization also is there.
Can, mm,
Then there is another topic comes into this microservices also.
my,
Microservices brings applications decomposition for easy maintenance in the cloud technology, right?
mm.
Right. Then operations process and methodologies.
Operation process, creating IM roles, assigning roles, creating buckets, maintaining the buckets, using access control list, um,
Even
replication
cloud
of
monitoring setup also will come under operations process.
operation. Yes, set
Auto
up
scale
cloud
setup will come.
monitors,
ELB setup will come. Route 53 setup will come.
auto scaling, billing.
Yes. So entire production operations, how you used to do in the traditional manner, you have to follow those things in the
Same.
cloud.
Yes,
Same setup.
same setup.
And yeah, operations of those particular components. Then what are the methodologies? You are nothing but you are going to use agile
Or
methodologies only, software
mm,
development life cycle. And
mm,
whatever agile principles the organization is working under IT governance, we are going to follow that, right?
yeah.
Let us see the real syllabus, chapter by chapter. So what is SDLC automation, software development lifecycle automation? If you see here, you are applying the concepts required to automate CI/CD pipeline. What is CI? Continuous integration, continuous delivery. When you want to do integration from one area to another area through the tools process by applying the a tool CI tool like Jenkins, then Jenkins is going to run like a scheduler incrementally whatever the jobs are there in the pipeline, right?
Mm,
Let us say each developer will have continuous work. If you want to do a continuous delivery, continuous integration need to be done by the developer. To do continuous integration, what happens? The developer is supposed to have continuous work pipeline for his development. He is not supposed to see only one sprint cycle or one delivery. Continuously, all the things he need to take product backlogs, and as an ongoing process, he need to push the code into GI. That is his role. What is the role of DevOps engineer? Yes, he need to do continuous deployments with the different environments creation. He is not doing a physical environment, right? It is a virtual environment basically. Any number of times he can run the code with IAC to create the environment, whatever they wanted it, and he can kill that environment also, destroy that environment. Am I right?
Mm.
So all will come in the pipelines. So one developer will say, I need this kind of environment. Now IIC will be ready with the DevOps engineer. Then he is going to deploy into different environments like integration, QA, and UAT, such kind of things, right? Those all are there in the work activities pipeline, right? Right. Now determine source control strategies and how to implement them. So what are these? Nothing but version control system. Similar to CIT, there can be some kind of tools. We are going to use it. Those tools are having stringent processes, right? So always the code is going to be checked in into the version control system. Then there is a build packaging tool will be there. That tool is going to take forward to package the build and deploy, readily available for deployment for the DevOps engineer, right? Then he'll put that build path in the IAC. Then he is going to take that build once the environment is prepared for particular specifications of the networking, subnets, then configuring the EC2s, then configuring the EC2s with the servers configuration, then deploy the build on that environment. You have multiple activities in the IAC itself. All right?
Mm.
Right. Now, apply concepts required to automate and integrate testing. So, we have seen in some of the charts in the DevOps, we are using automated test scripts only because Agile methodology says in the beginning, every sprint cycle need to be automated. Let us say if you are working in the second sprint cycle in a project, first sprint cycle, at least 60 to 80% should have been automated with for regression testing with automated scripts by particular tool, right?
Yeah.
So you are running them, just you are calling them in Jenkins or some other CI tool, whether you take Jenkins or some other tool, it takes care of that, which is under CI/CD pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Then apply concepts required to build and manage artifact security. So what are artifacts? Basically, the compiled versions, the builds will be there. The builds are going to be stored somewhere under artifact repository. There is a tool called JFrag, that is meant for the artifacts repository in the production systems itself. You can store them. But when you are moved to cloud technology, you don't need all these things. Everything is executed through the IAC code, right? But safe side, yes, you can keep in the production servers also that particular builds, right? Now determine deployment or delivery strategies. So if one is there as a DevOps senior guy, you need to understand what are the pipeline delivery uh, deliveries are there. I mean, the software delivery items are there, like product items. So you need to understand them. Then according to that, you need to get the specifications of that particular builds. Then what environment is required for those things, you need to get them ready. Right. And another thing is there is a concept called blue and green. Blue and green stands for, let us say, one environment you have created in the production. You can call it blue something. Then or green. Then one you have a pre-production environment. Then in that everything is tested like a production testing. Then you have a replica of the production in that with the new build, with the new code, new setup, everything. Then you can turn into green, the blue environment. Then again, next time when it comes, you are going to create a blue environment, then that is certified, then you are going to convert that into the green environment. It is nothing but you are mapping that particular network as a new one and releasing that into production. This is one kind of scenario I am discussing with you. There are multiple ways people are doing in the production in the
Yeah.
cloud
Correct.
tech, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now canary relays continuously. develop it, continuously you need to integrate it. All those will come under CI/CD process. Then red or black. So this is also similar to this area, blue, green, all these things related to the builds only. The navy is these testing initial, before moving to the production, you can do a kind of pilot testing, all those things, and how to implement them using AWS services. So one need to predict what way they need to plan for deployment. That is the DevOps engineer role, which comes under automation. Automation is for IAC purpose, to create this kind of environments. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, second, configuration management and infrastructure as code. Now you have a strategies, planning strategies as a DevOps engineer. You have done from these things with processes, all those things. Now you need to work for the configuration management. What is that configuration management? Systems configuration, infrastructure configuration, network configuration. All those will come into the picture, right? Right.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
IAC will come to the part, infrastructure as a code, right? Determine deployment services based on deployment needs. So you got the specifications for different delivery strategies. According to that, you are going to define them, right? Determine application and infrastructure deployment models based on business needs. What are these models? We are using multiple networks in a different ways. Maybe each network model is different. It has some kind of subnets, right? All those will be varying it. That specification depends on the builds what they are planning it. Depends on the delivery strategies, right? It doesn't mean like we need to stick on to one environment only, like in the production, right? Earlier traditional boxes we used to buy under capital expenses. We used to keep them idle also sometimes. Then the people, you were forced to be flexible to stick on to that environment only. Now those days have gone. We are in the cloud arena, and in that whatever you want, you can create such kind of environment for flexibility purpose. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. Now apply security concepts in the automation of resource provisioning. So now you tell me, if you have EC2s, what are the security concepts you are supposed to use?
Secure IAM rule
Okay. Apart from that,
and availability zone,
right, deploying into availability
deploying
zones.
availability zones.
Then for that, while
Then
creating the EC2s, you need to follow some security
for us,
principles, right?
yes.
For those.
And what are the ports to be opened for that machine, like HTTP, SSH, any if you're configuring any
So you need to define particular security,
database, uh,
right? So,
security groups and port, which are all ports to be opened for that
mm,
machine.
mm, 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 mm.
That's also a security.
Right, right. Now determine how to implement lifecycle hooks and a deployment. Like incrementally you will be doing it. So when you are doing incrementally, what happens? It is becoming like a cyclic process, like a circular path rotating on that DevOps cycle. Then one by one delivery cycle is going to be deployed. So all those will come under this. Now apply concepts required to manage systems using AWS configuration management tools and services. So here what happens? What are the configuration management tools? You have AWS proprietary tool which is called Terraform. Apart from that, you have a CloudFormation. CloudFormation will have a repository of the templates, whatever projects we are doing on AWS platform, right? These two are going to be helpful. Apart from that, if you want to use external software tools, configuration management tools like Ansible, Chef, Puppet, everything is present, can be presented, right?
Mm.
Now, next one, monitoring and logging. So what areas you can monitor and log in the production? I'm asking.
Areas like monitoring other like alerts, configuring alerts for the production,
Mm, mm,
servers health check,
mm,
disk space,
mm,
CPU usage,
mm,
memory usage.
mm,
On then this specific to server.
mm,
Then if you are specific to databases, any blockage in the queries, any query blockers are there, any query blockers and any login DB login failures
mm, mm, mm,
for
mm.
database related, and
Yeah,
for
But those are in the traditional manner. When you
Yeah.
come to the RDS services, relational data services, that is going to take care.
Take
Even if query issue is there, it is going to handle it. We
handle
have
it.
seen about the Aurora database, right? We have seen
Mm.
multiple databases in that RDS chapter, right?
Yeah.
So all those all are going to be taken care by database services.
Database
But in
service.
production, what happens? Main thing is cloud watch, cloud agent. Such kind of things are required to monitor and log it, verify the log files also, pull them into the dashboards,
Yeah, correct.
right? Then determine how to set up the aggregation, storage, and analysis of logs. What is aggregation? You will have on multiple EC2s log files where cloud agent is configured with service manager, right? Then all EC2s are going to have log files for metrics, like each operation is going to be logged. Then that is going to be consolidated. Then there is a storage area. You are going to store them log files periodically into S3, right? Then you are analyzing it through the cloud watch kind of thing, right? In the dashboards, right? You are pushing them into dashboards, and you are releasing that particular services to pull from particular EC2, right? And
Mm.
that is going to analyze the logs with cloud monitoring setup. Am I right?
Yeah.
Then apply concepts required to automate monitoring and event management of environment. How you can automate it? Obviously, in the cloud monitoring setup, you have some kind of options, parameters. Using that, you are going to automate that, right? Then apart from that, there are events. What are the events? Failure, health check, such kind of things are coming under important event, critical events. Then load balancing, then network failures. If one network is failed, the route 53 need to have activate another network. So obviously it is going to be a tricky position for all these services like route 53, ELB, autoscale. Immediately they need to configure virtual private cloud, set up everything, and everything need to be operated in minutes. Am I
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So do those things as in the backend automated processes, applied it through particular services setup. One is monitoring service, cloud monitor, CloudWatch is there. CloudWatch is going to monitor all those things. Then it is going to intimate to the autoscale. Autoscale is going to restart the new servers. And if anything is load is heavy, if it is network is failed, then Route 53 is going to route to another network as a contingency plan. All those things are applied, right? Then apply concepts required to audit, log, monitor operating systems, infrastructure, and applications. So what is this? Concepts required to audit, log. So you have audit process in information security management, which is coming under the IT governance for a company. That IT governance of that company is supposed to be implemented with the AWS platform. That is all demanded by AWS to the customers. All right.
Yeah.
Then there are log files. We discussed about the CloudWatch, Cloud Agents, all those things. Then monitor operating systems, how it is running. Through Autoscale, you are going to monitor. Through CloudWatch, you are going to monitor, right? Then infrastructure creation, like network operating, network VPC is there. Then VPC has got multiple components. All those things are monitored. Then applications, whatever applications you are running on that infrastructure, right? Then determine how to implement tagging and other metadata strategies. What is this tagging? Tagging is to identify particular server or particular EC2. We have seen while configuring or launching the EC2, we have made some tag for that particular machine. Am I right?
Yeah.
And apart
You are
from that,
creating
yes,
creating any EC2 machines, tagging and other
yes, you are adding the
adding
values
the
for
values
tag
for that.
purpose, right? To identify particular mission information, right? Let us say you pull that EC2, you will have ID only, but you will not have a name. You are giving the name in the add tag values.
Tag.
With that, what happens? You are drilling down into low level under events, which mission is down, which mission has got problem,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Then that time it is going to be useful. Then metadata strategies. What is metadata? Basically, you have a key management under security. Key
Security.
has got metadata. obviously. Then S3 has got metadata, right? Right?
Yeah.
All those will come into that. Then next one is policies and standards automation. Policies are like you can have IT governance policies also, or you can have security policies also, like IAM roles, all those things, and standards automation, like whatever you want to follow. First, it should go to the integration test area. Second, it should go to the QA environment. Third, it should go to the UAT. This is the DevOps process. You are defining it under standards for automation. Then, before integration testing, it should run code review, right? Code analyzer. Then before that, it should go for unit testing. All those things are defining into the standards following, and those standards are automated through DevOps integration, right? Then apply concepts required to enforce standards for logging, metrics, monitoring, testing, and security. Obviously, these are also part of the DevOps process. It is already implemented in the cloud platform, but we are going to pull those things into the integration tools process to come to bring them into the DevOps dashboards. DevOps dashboards happens through the Jenkins basically. If you are using Jenkins under CI/CD pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Then determine how to optimize cost through automation. So cost optimization is you are delaying deployment, you are delaying code review, you are delaying test scripts running by using the manual process, right? Because human interaction is required without automation means. Then when you are automating, that coordination time is saved it. Then when it is escalated it, automatically actions are going to be taken it. Only the active participation is required from the developer to fix particular issue. That's all. Then another active participation is required from the test engineer if any new CR is there to do some kind of manual testing, because new CRs cannot be automated. Old CRs can be automated from the previous delivery cycle, right? Apply concepts required to implement governance strategies. We discussed that IT governance strategies. One has responsibility as customer to implement those things for security policies following or organizational policies following, right? So these all are coming under policies and standards automation. Now, when it comes to the incident event response, so troubleshoot issues and determine how to restore operations. Now, let us say we have unhealthy instances. What are we going to do? How we are going to restore it? Using autoscale, right? How autoscale is going to get that events? Through CloudWatch. Am I right? So CloudWatch is going to send information, then Autoscale is looking into the restarting the machines, and it is going to rebuild the architecture as a new setup. And then that is going to be available and it intimates immediately to the ELP, Route 53, right?
Yeah.
So determine how to automate event management and alerting. Yes, obviously when you are working with the CloudWatch, that is all automated. You are attaching that CloudWatch to particular systems in that setup, right? It is automated through that. But at the same time, these can be associated with CI process also, since we are in the DevOps process, right?
Yeah.
Apply concepts required to implement automated healing. What is that healing? If particular systems are down, then what happens? The Jenkins is going to execute that particular script in the backend when it gets the alerts, right? Instead of doing by Jenkins, Autoscale is going to do it. That's all. So when Autoscale is going to do it, sends alerts to the CI process. CI has got some email ID. Through that email ID, it is going to be in the dashboard of the Jenkins or some other CI tool, right? Then apply concepts requires to set up event-driven automated actions. What are the events? Events are nothing but whatever sequence of the actions you are doing it, all those sequence of the actions are going to be put into the automated actions. Now, if you take SQS, SES, you have configured them, right? So email service, right? Simple email service, simple queue service. All those were there. Those were automated also in the back end to drive that particular events when issues comes up. Am I right?
Yeah.
That you got it right. We made one EC2 down also.
Hmm.
Test that.
Yeah, yeah, we test.
Right? That is all nothing but event-driven automated actions. So those all are can be connected in the DevOps process. So overall, if you see incident and event response, what are the incidents? Incidents are nothing but about knowing about the statuses of your systems in cloud, EC2s, services, such kind of things. If one service is down, then again you need to make a replica of that particular architecture in another zone or region, then it need to restart from there. So it happens in seconds or minutes also through autoscale, right? Then high availability, fault tolerance, and disaster recovery. Now let us see all these things. Determine appropriate use of multi-availability zone versus multi-region architectures. We discussed several examples, several architecture scenarios in each chapter, right?
Hmm.
How to
Yeah.
implement that particular
Mul
service,
hmm.
right? We,
Multi-zones.
yes, multi-zones can be used, it multi-regions also we can use it, and how those can be deployed, how those can be architected, it all depends on the requirement. The planning is very essential in the AWS for architect, cloud architect, am I right? Planning, designing, that is the critical part. Once it is done perfectly, yes, everything can be smooth, right? Then determine how to implement high availability, scalability, and fault tolerance. So these all are being taken by ELB, autoscale, through implementation of those things, right? Am I right?
Hmm. High availability, scalability, fault tolerance. Yeah, correct.
Fault
Using
tolerance, yeah.
yeah,
Make
using
CloudWatch is there to identify
mm,
fault tolerance, right?
mm,
Then if it is a faulty, unhealthy instance, ELB and autoscale will make sure
make sure.
it is replaced,
Yes.
right, immediately. That's where it was doing when we were killing in the back end, right?
Yeah,
Autoscale
correct.
was restarting the instances
Mm, mm,
in seconds itself, it used to, right? Then determine the right services based on business needs. So uh, whatever services are required for that particular software application, we are supposed to analyze in the beginning. Then
mm,
accordingly, we need to configure the VPC and particular services and components also.
mm,
Finally, right?
mm, mm.
Then determine how to design and automate disaster recovery strategies. First of all, do you think there is a disaster happens it?
No, disaster won't happen because they have that kind of in yes environment setup from Amazon, right?
Right. So here what happens, Amazon is going to take internally as a secondary primary setup. As once primary setup is down, autoscale and ELB are working in a region level. They are
Mm,
going to take care of those things through the services, those services. Another setup will be ready and replica is going to happen for few seconds, every few seconds,
mm,
then recovery can be there. We cannot call exactly it is a disaster and recovery. We can call as it is restarted the another setup, that's it. The restarting can be there in seconds. Sometimes if it is a huge network, then network need to be redesigned, or it can be restart. It can be redeployed the entire network in another region,
mm.
right? Your databases are safe because autoscale is going to make sure replication is happening with RDS. Am I right?
Mm, yeah, correct.
When RDS is service is deployed in particular region, it takes care of entire region for that particular architecture or infrastructure. Am I right?
Mm,
So now evaluate a deployment for points of failure. So where all it can occur failures, where you are not using efficiently, effectively the required services. Am I right?
Correct.
If ELB is not configured, then what happens? If Route 53 is not configured, it cannot identify another network, right?
Mm.
Then
And
obviously,
your minimum auto scaling, if you are not mention the minimum requirement,
hmm,
it will fail.
right. So all those are need to be planned in the beginning and design the architecture. I mean infrastructure architecture, right? Right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel this one? Like what level of confidence you have in these things?
Yeah, it's uh, almost it's discussed in the
Solution
architect
architecture.
solution or
Course,
solution
your course.
architects.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm. Only thing is each component wise we need to do practice
Practice
separately for
and
DevOps.
yeah, and each specific domain, how what are all the uh, uh, concept concept wise, and how it's what are the services and how it's configured, that to be go through it in
Mm,
each domain wise
mm. Then apart from that, the DevOps services need to be utilized
service.
while doing code commit, code deploy.
Code deploy, SV and control, source control strategies.
Yes, right. All those. So CI/CD pipeline
Mm,
usage to automate the pipeline items continuously. All those
correct.
things. Right.
Yes.
It all depends on the project how they are going to execute it
Execute.
to implement these things. Right. Then, but existing infrastructure architecture, if it is there, yes, incrementally one need to be aware what is the IAC they need to define because they need to be very cautious about the IAC.
Mm,
Without having proper specifications, the DevOps engineer is not supposed to step down for writing the templates. That is a challenging issue for the DevOps engineer, right?
yeah.
Other things, again, you are integrating with the CI tool like monitoring and logging, then policies, standards, automation, then incident event response in the CI/CD process, and then all these checking default order such kind of things. So, if you have made already ELB or autoscale with CloudWatch, all those things, those are going to take care of that, right?
Yeah.
But you feel like solution architect course is higher level than this, or this is higher level than that course?
No, of course, solution architect is in higher level.
Okay, so you mean to say if one attended a solution architect course, understanding DevOps is very easy, or if they go through this one, that is easy?
No, this is in the specific part is in depth for DevOps, right? Like it's specific to deployment and continuous integrations. This is specific to DevOps,
Yeah.
but in associate, it's overall it's covering entire organization level infrastructure, how to design it.
Mm, mm,
So that uh, architect level is good.
uh.
So yeah, we can easily cope up this DevOps courses after completing the course.
After completing the solution architect course,
Solution, yes.
because they need to understand these concepts also,
This concept. Even if
architecture
you're in the
concepts.
DevOps, if you studied all these concept and but you don't know not much knowledge on VPC
Mm,
and other
mm,
what is NAT instances,
mm, mm,
that's little difficult, right? So it
mm.
should be.
That is correct because many of the guys, what they are
Mm,
doing is they are coming from developer side or testing background side. They are jumping into the DevOps. Then they feel like it is very easy in AWS cloud technology configuration or something. But fundamental thing is they need to understand the platform services
mm.
because you have the background. Since few months you are there, you learned it, you practiced it. How many hours you might have practiced it? Self practice around 150 plus hours.
For this AWS training.
Yes, solution
Mm,
architect
yeah,
course.
yes, yeah,
Your self practice. I am saying not
yeah,
our
yeah.
both of our practices.
No, no, yeah,
You burned more than 150 hours, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now you have little confidence explaining all these things. And if you want to appear for the exam, that is a separate activity you need to take up.
Okay.
Right? Again, separate preparation is required for that.
Yes, correct.
Right. So that's all about this one. Just I'll stop the recording.